to the entertainer talking sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Well, this isn't really a New York Giants video. This is more an NFC East video. I'm going to recap the hire of Mike McCarthy by the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to give you guys my opinion on that. I'm also going to get into the rumor about Pat Shurmur potentially becoming the offensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins, of course, being the New York Giants' former head coach. Just want to say I apologize for not having these videos up in a timely manner. Had something going on, but everything's good to go, and you guys are going to see a lot of uploads from me tonight, so hopefully you guys check out the videos. In addition to this, I'm also going to be doing a video on Wade Phillips being fired by the LA Rams, potential defensive coordinator target for the New York Giants. I'll jump into that. I'm also going to talk about the interview tomorrow with Matt Rhule and some other rumors circulating with that. So I have a couple more videos out, at least 2 more, if not 3. So hopefully you guys stick around for that. But in this one, we're going to talk about McCarthy, who a lot of New York Giants fans were really into McCarthy. They thought he was the guy to get, being that he had a lot of experience in the NFL, had a lot of success, did good work with the quarterbacks, came up in a good offensive system with Schottenheimer, learned the ropes there. And Schottenheimer, to me, since I've been watching football, is one of the most underrated offensive minds in football. Did a great job there with the Chargers. Always used the running backs in a really good way. Really liked his offense, and I thought McCarthy learned well there. Of course, had a ton of success with Aaron Rodgers. Now, the question is, was it more Rodgers? Was it more McCarthy? Well, I've been on record as saying that I think Rodgers had a lot more to do with it than McCarthy, but McCarthy's going to get a chance now to prove with the Dallas Cowboys that he had a lot to do with it, and you could certainly argue that he did. Let's go over McCarthy's resume real quick and look at his wins and losses as a head coach with the Green Bay Packers. Came on to the Green Bay Packers as the head coach in 2006 at the age of 43. At that time, Brett Favre was still the quarterback, and when you look at his career record as a head coach, he was 125, 77, and 2 with a .618 winning percentage from 2006 to 2018 over a 13-year span. He's going to be 57 his first year with the Dallas Cowboys, and it is a 5-year contract. So he's still plenty young, to live out that contract and possibly get an extension after that. And you look at his record, in terms of wins and losses, incredibly impressive. He only had 3 losing seasons. 2 of them came in the last 2 years, much like a Ron Rivera, and which is why Ron Rivera was replaced. Now, you could point to some injuries by Aaron Rodgers. The team kind of lacked talent down the stretch. Of course, we all remember that Ty Montgomery was a running back, a former wide receiver, and it was almost as if the Packers were finding ways to skate by due to the lack of talent on their football team. Had incredible success, though, with the Green Bay Packers, as he should have with a guy like an Aaron Rodgers. But I think he went to at least 3, if not 4, NFC title games, including 2007 with Brett Favre before the Giants knocked him out there in Lambeau Field to go to the Super Bowl. 2010, of course, they won the Super Bowl at 10-6. The following year was the best regular season team that Mike McCarthy coached. They went 15-1 before the New York Giants knocked them out of the playoffs yet again. And I believe they made at least 1, if not 2 more NFC championships after that. So in terms of wins and losses and experience, if that's what you're looking for, he's your guy. And to be completely honest with you, I am not surprised that the Dallas Cowboys ended up with Mike McCarthy, because if we're being completely unbiased and looking at it, they are the best job right now outside of Jerry Jones. And I'm sure Jerry Jones gave him, a guarantee that he's going to have a lot of say. I don't think Mike McCarthy would have taken this job if he thought he was going to be a puppet. McCarthy could have probably taken the Jets job last year if he was going to be a puppet, and he turned it down. It's a good hire by the Cowboys. You're starting to see the NFC East take shape. You're going to have 3 new head coaches next year. We already know 2 of them. Ron Rivera, who I was a big fan of, went to the Washington Redskins, and McCarthy, after interviewing with the Giants, went right to Dallas, spent 2 days there, and then signed on the dotted line for a 5-year deal. Like I said, McCarthy's a safe hire. I don't think he's a guy that's going to get you super excited. The knock on him, I guess, would be the way he ended with Aaron Rodgers. But what I could say to that is, it's kind of like a marriage, right? A lot of times I'm not saying all marriages. Obviously, there's a lot of marriages that are, happily ever after. But a lot of times as a marriage wears down, you get a little sick of each other. And I think that's what happened there with Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy down the stretch. It's the same thing that seems to have happened in New England with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. But he certainly had a lot of success with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had arguably one of the 3 or 4 greatest single seasons in the history of football at the quarterback position, I think, in that 2011 season where they went 15-1. So McCarthy is a good offensive mind. Another interesting note, Ben McAdoo was his offensive coordinator, so we know the system. We know what they're going to bring there to the Dallas Cowboys. It'll be a lot of quick throws if it's a similar offense. From what I heard, Mike Nolan will come on as the defensive coordinator, and there are talks that they may leave Kellen Moore on as the OC with the Dallas Cowboys. Kellen Moore came in known as a good, bright, young offensive mind, had success there. Dak Prescott threw for a ton of yards this year, had a career year statistically, and we'll see if they sign Dak Prescott to a big contract. I think they will. I think McCarthy knew taking the job that Dak Prescott will be his quarterback, and maybe that attracted him to the Dallas Cowboys. Me personally, that would not be a huge attraction to me. I'd rather draft a quarterback. I don't view Dak Prescott as an elite quarterback, but he may not have been a fan of Daniel Jones, or maybe the New York Giants didn't give him an offer. Maybe the Cowboys jumped on it before the Giants could. We'll never know. But McCarthy will be the Dallas Cowboys head coach, and yeah, I can't get on this hire. It's a safe hire. It's a good hire, and it was the team with the best situation. So it only makes sense that the Dallas Cowboys get the guy with the most experience out there on the open market. As much as I wasn't jumping for joy for Mike McCarthy to come to the Giants, I certainly understood the Giants fans who were. He's got a resume, no doubt about it. A lot of success in the NFL, and I was a big fan of Rivera. Rivera doesn't have a Super Bowl to his name, so I get it. McCarthy's a good hire by the Cowboys, a good safe hire, and I expect them to be much better because I am not a huge fan of Jason Garrett, and I'm going to get into Jason Garrett in another video. I hope you guys come back and watch that as rumors have surfaced with him. But yeah, good job if you're a Cowboys fan. You got a head coach, and he's certainly an improvement over Garrett. And with the talent the Cowboys have, there's no reason to think that Mike McCarthy can't make you guys a contender next year if you guys stay healthy and get back to your bread and butter, which is running the football down your opponent's throats with that strong offensive line. The other story I wanted to touch on was Pat Shurmur. Pat Shurmur, of course, the Giants head coach. The last 2 years, Giants got rid of him after another disappointing season in which they went 4-12 off a 5-11 season the year before that. So the Giants now have gone through 2 coaches over the last 3 years, and we'll see who the Giants choose. But the rumors that have come out, and nothing is official yet, but the Redskins, of course, already have their head coach in Ron Rivera. They have their defensive coordinator in Jack Del Rio, a former head coach who's had moderate success with the Jaguars and I believe the Oakland Raiders. And now, rumors have it that they are potentially eyeing Pat Shurmur as the offensive coordinator. And let's jump into the tweets on that. Here's the first tweet. The Redskins have indeed shown interest in Pat Shurmur, as Grant Paulson tweeted. However, no interview as of yet, and not sure if there will be one. Not yet a two-way street in regards to interest. Could depend on what happens with Kevin O'Connell. Even then, not sold on Pat Shurmur interest. So that's John's Kimes. That's his opinion. That's not fact. This was the Grant Paulson tweet. One surprising name being discussed internally for the Redskins offensive coordinator job is Pat Shurmur, I'm told. The recently fired Giants head coach is one of the names being considered in the event that Kevin O'Connell doesn't return. And as a Giants fan, I actually, I admitted, Pat Shurmur was not a great head coach. He was not a good head coach. He was a bad head coach, and he was a bad head coach with the Cleveland Browns. Had a lot of bad in-game decisions, right, with the timeouts and everything else down the stretch. But in terms of an offensive mind, in terms of being strictly an offensive coordinator, he might be exactly what the Washington Redskins need, and it would worry me a bit as a New York Giants fan. He's shown a lot of success with quarterbacks. We saw him do it with Daniel Jones. We saw him do it throughout his entire career with Case Keenum, Nick Foles, Sam Bradford. He's done a great job with quarterbacks, and that, I'm assuming, would be the appeal for the Washington Redskins if they did, in fact, decide to bring on a Pat Shurmur to be the offensive coordinator. You got a young quarterback there in a Dwayne Haskins who could use some molding, and Pat Shurmur has shown he's one of the best in football at doing that. I think it would actually be a really good hire for the Redskins. He's not a head coach, but in terms of an offensive coordinator, he's had a ton of success. He had great success with the Eagles, great success with the Vikings in that role. When you ask Shurmur to be a coordinator, I think he'll do a good job, and if the Redskins get him, they have really giving themselves a good coaching staff, in my opinion. I'm a huge Rivera guy, Del Rio guy, and Shurmur guy. And the New York Giants, we don't know what we got yet. I am going to have a video out on a potential defensive coordinator, so I'll be talking about that. And yeah, I think in the next couple of days, we'll probably start to see what the New York Giants are going to do with that coaching staff. Can't wait to find out exactly what happens, but wanted to get a video up on this as the NFC East is starting to take shape. With the head coaches, with the coordinator, things like that. It'll be interesting to see if Pat Shurmur does latch on with the Washington Redskins. And we know McCarthy will be with the Dallas Cowboys. So if you're a McCarthy guy, well, he's with Dallas. So in terms of the head coaching search, I think Giants fans, you're looking at Rhule, potentially Jason Garrett, Wink Martindale, Bieniemy. I think those are the contenders right now. I'll also have a video up on Judge. Some news has come out about him as well. So hopefully you check that out, the special teams coordinator with the New England Patriots. But thank you guys for watching. If you liked what you watched, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.